Welcome to Desire. We blend innovation and tradition with the world's first self-parking car and one of the oldest names in luxury motoring. We sample some of the best vintages Paris's City Hall has to offer and take the advice of a very futuristic wine waiter. But first, it's a high-tech paradise of futuristic gadgets. More than 800 companies from 27 countries gather each year to exhibit their cutting-edge IT and electronics products at Hitech. One of the most desirable items on show last time around was this 5-kilogram bicycle riding robot called the Murata Boy. It was created by Japanese robot firm Murata Manufacturing Company, and it can reach speeds of 30 inches per second. And it can balance while riding on a thin pathway that slopes and twists. It's equipped with 4 types of sensors. 2 gyro sensors to detect angular velocity and inclination, an ultrasonic sensor to detect obstacles, and a shock sensor to detect rough surfaces. The robot is connected to a PC for forward, stop, and backward type commands. And it can follow pre-programmed paths. It's about 2 foot tall and can even balance while at a complete stop. By developing this technology further, this robot could be able to carry heavy loads and run on high and narrow places, like a dangerous construction site, instead of people. Toshiba showed off its latest motion capture technology. CG models on live screens moved in unison with human models, who kept moving from side to side. It doesn't use any markers or sensors which need to attach to a person to capture human motions. As it doesn't need much time to replicate the moves, the company says the technology could be used for a wide variety of applications, for security and surveillance purposes, for instance. By this markerless motion capture technology, you will be able to try on new clothes without actually doing it. You can see it on your CG body, just by standing in front of the camera. For those who prefer their technology a little more tried and tested, a rare collection of pinball machines and amusement arcade machines dating back to the Victorian era is up for auction in the UK. This is a mutoscope, also known as a what the butler saw machine.
It comes down to 2 things with mutoscopes. It's the actual machine as well as the contents. The reels, the saucier, the rarer. If it's a rather challenging subject, for example, there are reels showing whaling, for instance, which is very un-PC now. Those would be highly desirable as a collector goes, but more landscape scenes or perhaps action shots, Edward Muybridge's scenes of horse running and walking, those reels are also particularly collectible. The 3 mutoscopes we have in the sale contain reels of a peep show nature, and those would obviously be sought by collectors for the machine as well as the reels.
Perhaps the most unusual items on sale are these electric shop machines. 100 years ago, it was thought to be good for the health to have several hundred volts applied to the human body.
The Nick Costa collection of amusement machines, and it spans a variety of machines and the history of the coin-free device from 1875 to around 1950. In the sale are one-armed bandits, various wall machines, fortune tellers, dispensers and vendors, skill machines, and a vast quantity of pre-decimal coinage for your machine.
These slot machines were designed in the early 1930s in Chicago and heralded the dawn of the age of casinos in America.
the idea of amusement machines are to amuse a wide audience, but they are gambling machines at the end of the day. Some of the more novelty associated items, perhaps the Charlie Chaplin war machine, which you have to catch a ball in his top hat, wearing his famous tramp's costume. And then moving on to more adult ones is perhaps the Allied flags, where you have to defend your country's flag by covering the enemy's flag with the Allied flag. It was produced in 1916 and only one of 5 known to exist.
These machines were not about chance, but all about skill. Of comparable vintage are these 300 historic posters highlighting many aspects of travelling, from the iconic period of sailing abroad through to stunning continental rail posters, and those used to promote the birth of airline travel to the masses.
We find that theming the sale is very popular with our collectors. They like to have a focus and something to buy from. We have a huge selection of shipping posters, very early ones from the Cunard lines and the White Star line, which was obviously the famous, the Titanic, and the Cunard line ships, the Mauritania, the Lusitania. They have very long names. And they're very early, very collectible posters and extremely rare.
The sale includes quite a few examples from the Cunard Shipping Company, which promoted their ships to those looking to travel the globe in style. There are also a number of rare posters from the Shell Oil Company, used extensively to advertise Britain around the world.
Shell did a campaign sort of from the 1930s onwards of wonderful posters, visit Britain's landmarks, people prefer Shell, that kind of thing. And we have a lovely selection here. We have film stars prefer Shell, firemen prefer Shell, actors prefer Shell. So they used a very broad selection of people to sell their product, and they used the best artists of the day.
There's also a collection of posters by Terence Cuneo, who captured some of the best of British train travel over 3 decades. His work bears not only his signature, but also a mouse somewhere in the image.
He was a wonderful painter of the railway subjects. So his paintings sell for tens and hundreds of thousands, but the posters, you can have a wonderful poster of his lovely steam trains, and that's sort of £1,000–2,000.
Another major artist is Roger Broders. His images for French railway company PLM are for travel to the Mediterranean, emphasising sun, sea and foreign escape to exotic locations throughout France.
He does very iconic posters. They're very bright, colourful, 1930s, elegant ladies, beach scenes, Saint-Maxime, beautiful, lovely Côte d'Azur. It's just very collectible. He is one of our best artists, absolutely.
The sale of these posters, focusing on a bygone age, show how images of travel from the past still enjoy a very modern appeal. Been installed with a self-assist parking system. With the help of sensors, cameras and radar, this car can literally park itself.
So as we move up to the parking space, the sonar detects the position of the cars in front